100% hand on heart, I can say, when I plan out my content for the month, I get better results. And the reason being is because I have strategically thought about what it is I want to share. I've strategically thought about what my goals are. Welcome to the Master Your Business podcast, where we bring you the best in branding, marketing, and customer experience strategies. I'm Deirdre Martin, your host. And if you've been asking yourself how to level up your growing business, your marketing, your customer experience, or how to make more of an impact with your brand, this show is for you. You'll discover actionable tips and insights to help businesses just like yours gain clarity and illuminate the path to success. Train with industry experts, learn sales and marketing strategies, business and mindset hacks, and be inspired by authentic entrepreneurship stories. As your host, I'll share the no-nonsense advice that accelerated my journey from boring bank manager to industry thought leader in marketing and customer experience. Learn how I made the leap into the world of six-figure success, digital courses, keynote speaking, and co-authoring a #1 bestseller in just 1 year. Together with interviews from industry experts, this show ensures you're seen, heard, and hired by your ideal clients. Join our growing community of subscribers and let the Master Your Business podcast empower you to tackle your most significant challenges on your path to business success. Don't miss out. It's your turn to learn from the best and master your dream business. I remember the first time that I started posting for my business on LinkedIn, and I spent hours agonizing over it. And even as I was getting started in my business, every single post, I was trying to be clever, I was trying to be insightful, and I got a lot of traction. But it wasn't the type of traction that resulted in clients, because ultimately, that's why you're on LinkedIn, right? You're there for your business. You're not there as a hobby. You're not using it as a hobby. You're using it to grow your business. So what I found was it was exhausting. Creating all of this content was exhausting. And quite frankly, it was demoralizing. But then I discovered a simple framework that changed everything. And I started planning my content in batches. And suddenly I'm not going to say it felt effortless, but it definitely felt easier. I was posting consistently, my engagement started to improve, and best of all, I started attracting my ideal clients. Now, in this episode, I'm going to share with you that same framework. So if you're stressing about LinkedIn, if you're not getting the results that you want, stay tuned, get your pen and paper out, because I'm going to give you my 5 top tips. I'm literally going to share with you a step-by-step process for planning out an entire month's worth of content that you can create in just 1 day. So I'm going to cover everything from identifying your target audience, because at the end of the day, everything in your business comes back to your ideal clients. If you don't have clients, you don't have a business. So you need to have your ideal clients, and you need to get really clear on who they are. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to talk about everything from headlines to content calendars to all sorts of things to try and make this process a little bit smoother and more easier for you. Now, I know you're a busy entrepreneur, and maybe you have somebody behind the scenes who's doing this for you, but we've had sessions on the show where we've talked about VAs, and business is expensive right now. And not everybody is doing very well from what I'm hearing. Some people are struggling a little bit. The first quarter this year mightn't have gone terribly well for you. And maybe over the summer months, things were a little bit lax. So if you're tightening your purse strings, often the place that people start is with direct debits on their accounts. And then it's looking at resources, the high expenses that can potentially be your VA. So if you've got tools and frameworks that can help you with manage that, this can help you make your marketing and your costs give you a better return on investment. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is defining your ideal clients and what your goals are. So when you're going to create content, before you create any type of content, before you do anything, you need to figure out, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to sell something? Are you trying to position yourself as a thought leader? Are you trying to generate leads? Are you trying to get more followers and increase brand awareness? What is it that you're trying to do? And then when you figure out what that is, who are you trying to reach on LinkedIn? Like, and what do they care about? For example, if you were an accountant and your ideal clients are solopreneurs or online business owners, or your ideal clients maybe are corporates that are global international organizations, you need to figure out who your ideal clients are, because with an accountant, you can have those multiple different ideal clients, but the narrower your focus is, the more likely you are to succeed in attracting them. And it makes you it positions you to be able to create content that is going to relate with them an awful lot more, because you can really hone in on who they are and what they're looking for. You can talk about their problems more specifically. And I'm going to touch on that in terms of content pillars as well. So one of my pro tips for this is use the LinkedIn analytics and insights into your audience's demographics and interests, because when you do, this will help you tailor your content to their specific needs. And if you've been intentional in terms of growing your audience and strategically and proactively connecting with your ideal clients, your analytics and the insights into your audience's demographics and interests should reflect those people that you've been connecting with. And if not, there's something off kilter. And so this episode is definitely for you. And in the first few episodes of the Master Your Business podcast, I think it was episode 6, we had some guest experts come in and we talked about brand strategy and we talked about niche and all of that sort of stuff. So I'll share the episode links beneath this so that you can go back and have a listen if you haven't yet. Really great resources to help you understand who it is that you're talking to on LinkedIn. I've also done an episode on awareness, lead generation, and conversion. So I'll link the show to that one as well. So my second point in terms of how you're going to create the content for a month in one go, once you know what your goal is and who you're talking to, the third step, if you like, is really to brainstorm some content pillars. So what are the 3 to 5 main topics you want to focus on? Now, when I'm doing this with my clients, typically what I suggest that they do is they look at their offer. Usually within your offer, you've got 3 to 5 milestones. So for example, when people come to me, one of the very first things that I do with them is I work with them on their message. And what we do is we work on their brand strategy, we work on their brand story, and that's where the messaging comes in. So it's one of the first things. And when we're clear on that, then we move on to the next thing. So typically in my content, I talk about 3 to 5 pillars. Messaging is very often one of them. And very often it's LinkedIn messaging, because that's where my ideal clients hang out. Plus, it's where my ideal clients very regularly show up consistently in their business to attract their ideal clients. So it totally makes sense for me to talk about LinkedIn and LinkedIn messaging. The two go really closely hand in hand. So those, for example, are 2 things. Another topic for me might be about how to define your ideal client, because that is one of the first steps in brand strategy. It's who are you selling it to? What is your offer? So it's figuring those things out, and that can help you with your pillars. Another thing that you could do or approach could be something to do with industry trends. It could be client success stories, and just really figuring out what it is for the month that you want to share and speak about. And then how can you break down those pillars into smaller, more specific posts or topics that will really resonate with your ideal clients? For example, messaging. For me, what I might do is maybe give a simple framework in one of my posts. My favorite messaging framework for LinkedIn is da-da-da. So how can you break something like that down into subtopics, let's call them? And with that, some of those subtopics may have several steps. And then what you could do potentially is think about, okay, if that subtopic has 7 steps within it, that's ideal for a carousel post. That's the format I'm going to use. And if you're not sure what or how to brainstorm these topics, what I suggest you do is just get out a pen and paper. And on the pen and paper, think about the 3 to 5 core pillars or milestones within the offer that you provide to your clients, and then break it down. Like, what questions might your ideal clients ask about that pillar or subtopic? What kind of things crop up regularly? What are the challenges that they face? This is going to help you really create a well-rounded content calendar. And the thing with this is you can use these same topics month on month, seriously. Because ultimately what marketing is it's a lesson in memorability. So the more often you talk about the same thing, the more likely your ideal clients are to have an aha moment, because it will finally resonate with them. Mind map or brainstorm on a whiteboard, on a pen and paper, wherever, to figure out what your content pillars and subtopics are. The next thing to do, and this is where I love to start once I'm clear on that, I know what I'm talking about. The next thing I love to do is really focus on my headline, because your headline is the first thing people see. So it's so important that you make it count. And really, for your headline, you have 3, 4, 5 seconds at a maximum before somebody will decide whether they're going to read or pay attention or scroll on beyond your post. So your headline is really important. And some really great ways to do this is to make it thought-provoking, to make it contrarian. You can use numbers and lists and things like that. People like that sort of stuff. You could ask a question, something that's really strong that's going to grab people's attention. Now, my pro tip for this is you could look at what's working for other people in your industry and get some inspiration for their headlines. Don't copy them, but just figure out what's working. And then take what's working and think about, for you and your business, what's right for you and how can you tweak this? Okay, the next thing then is your content calendar. Now, what you can do is map out your content for the month and schedule posts in advance. I do this every single month, and I don't always have it fully completed. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am on top of this all of the time. I'm not, because sometimes life gets in the way, sometimes business gets in the way, and other times sometimes I'm just not feeling creative enough to do this. But when I get really organized, what I will definitely do is sit down and plan out what my content is going to be for the month. And the reason I do that is because I regularly run masterclasses, I regularly run webinars and challenges and workshops. And if I don't have my content planned out for the month, it's going to interfere with that. The other thing that I've noticed is 100% hand on heart, I can say, when I plan out my content for the month, I get better results. I really do. I get better results. And the reason being is because I have strategically thought about what it is I want to share. I have strategically thought about what my goals are. And when I plan it out, my content to align with my goal, the results are better. Plus, it helps you vary the type of content you share. So text, carousels, images, videos, articles, you name it. You have an opportunity to plan it out. Now, my favorite tool for doing this is Notion. And I'm going to share a link to a free Notion template calendar that I use to create this content. And in there, I've got some headlines for you as well that you can take and use to help you create brand awareness, to help you engage your ideal clients, and to help you capture their email addresses or convert them into paying clients. Okay, next, repurpose and recycle. Don't be afraid to repurpose old content that performed really well, or turn one piece of content into multiple formats. And what I mean by that is a blog post can become a LinkedIn article, or it could become a video, or it could become several videos. It could become a live, it could become a carousel post. There are so many ways that you can take content that's performed really well and turn it into the same piece of content, but in a different format. Now, some people might think that repurposing content is lazy. I disagree. I think it's really smart. If the content has worked well, you definitely are going to maximize your efforts having created that content in the first place, you're going to get more mileage out of it when you repurpose it. And the other thing with it is it goes back to the point I made a minute ago. Marketing is a lesson in memorability. Now, if you're looking for more tips on creating engaging content, be sure to check out some of my messaging workbook, and I'll share the link to that in the show notes as well. And that's going to help you create content where it really resonates with your ideal clients. And if you are interested in a deeper dive into maybe storytelling and how you might create storytelling posts and why you should create storytelling posts for social media, you've got to check out the episode with Dr. JJ Peterson as well. I'll share the details to that too. Oh my gosh, so many links to share with you. As I said, to help you get started with planning out your month's worth of LinkedIn content in a day, I've created a free Notion social media content planner, and you can download it directly from the link in the show notes. It includes templates, it's got headlines there as well, so that you can get started and plan out a month's worth of content in just one day. So be sure to head over to the show notes and grab your copy now. Finally, just to say, consistency is key on LinkedIn. Absolute key. And by planning your content in advance, you can show up consistently, you can build your brand, you can actively work towards achieving your goals. And best of all, that means attracting your ideal clients. So take action today, download the social media content planner and start creating content that gets results. And if you enjoyed the episode, please don't forget to rate and review the Master Your Business podcast. You can leave us a rating or a review on the Apple platform, or rate the show on Google or Spotify. It really helps other people find the show. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that follow button so you never miss an episode again. Until next time, keep mastering your business.